If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
When it comes to planting edible pod beans, you have two options, pole beans or bush beans. We're going to talk about both of them. I've got some Annihilator bush beans here that we're going to plant in this prepared raised bed, 4 foot wide by 12 foot long, with irrigation system already piped in. The difference between the two is obvious. One grows on a pole or a trellis or a unit or some sort, and it tangles itself up like a cucumber would. The bush beans, on the other hand, grow as a bush. Now, for many years, we had the assumption that bush beans take 40 to 60 days to reach maturity, which is accurate. And they will produce for 2 to 3 weeks, and then their life cycle is over, which we found was inaccurate. 2 years ago, we had bush beans in one of these beds here. I think it was this one here. And they produced all summer long until the frost killed them. So if you keep the water on them, their life cycle continues, and you have to harvest them at a manageable state. If you allow them to get very large and potted with the seed in it very large, the plant's going to shut down because its job is to reproduce, not to give you beans. So how do we plant these beans? Quite simple. We already got rows made here. I used my homemade triangle hole here, and we can adjust and move the drip system wherever we want it once we've got this done. So we're going to get these open here, take a handful here, and we're going to plant them about a ½ inch deep and about 2 to 4 inches spacing. If you get them too close, if you get them too far apart, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. If they're too close, you will have to come back and cut one out because they're going to compete. If they're too far apart, you're just going to have spacing in between them. These will take, with this irrigation system and the soil being warm, they should take about 7 to 10, maybe 12 days at the max here to start punching through the soil. If you have them too deep, they will take longer, and if the soil is too wet and or too cold, plants won't germinate at all. You're looking for about a 55, 60 degree soil temperature really to be safe. And you can plant these anytime during the summer that you want, just making sure that you're within the 60-day prior to your frost in the fall, so you can at least get some kind of harvest off of them. Well, I'm going to plant the next 2 rows. You've seen that. Then we'll come back, talk about how to clean this up and finish this up, and then we'll talk about pole beans and which may be more beneficial for you. All right, so we've got these planted. We've got about 24 seeds per row, so that's about 72-ish plants. Now, these are going to grow together, and by the time maturity occurs and the harvest starts to begin, this will just be one giant mat of green beans, and that's fine. If you have difficulty picking green beans in the green state, there are yellow wax beans and there are purple pod beans, which makes the harvesting process a little easier because there's a color differentiation. This would just be a giant mat of beans, and that's what it was 2 years ago. And we were harvesting between 8 and 10 cups of beans a week for 4, 5, 6 weeks consistently, and we would blanch them and freeze them because we don't care much for canned green beans because we have we feel there's a texture difference between the frozen kind and frozen kind or the jarred kind. So I'm just going to cover this over. Now you can mulch. I'm just draping the soil over here, not really concerned with the amount of soil, and just as long as it's not inches. You can mulch these and dry chemical-free seed grass clippings, straw, leaves if you have left over. With this irrigation system, we're going to probably just leave it as is. We want to put the irrigation system next to the row, not on the row, to allow, there we go, that's pretty good, to allow the water to get to the beans, but not prohibit the bean from coming up because there's a pipe on top of it. That's how we do bush beans. Now, let's go over and talk about pole beans and where you can get pole beans if you grew them last year and you still got some. This here was the trellis that we had our pole beans on last year. It will soon be our cucumber trellis. However, there are still pods that we did not harvest that are hanging here. Now, you can buy pole bean seeds from your local independent garden center or online. However, if you have some that's already growing, that's even better because you don't have to buy any. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these off, and I don't need many for where I'm going to transfer or plant these at. You want the bigger pods. I'm just going to take them all and then sort through them. The healthy and mature ones, there's some right there. These look kind of on the small side. So let's just take this one here is like the biggest or most mature one. And all we're going to do is open it up. And these were Blue Lake pole beans. And these seeds are fine to use. Nothing wrong with these seeds. I want to make sure that I don't spill any of them out. But those are perfectly fine to take from here and go over there and plant in our new, this year, pole bean trellis. So this was our cucumber trellis last year. That will be our pole bean trellis. We're alternating just because we can. There's no, I mean, we could grow cucumbers again here this year that we didn't have no diseases, and we could just top it off with some new compost and go again. But we alternate back and forth with these two vegetables. So we're just going to I'm going to drop the seeds in. Basically the same thing. I'm going about every 2 inches. That's fine. This trellis is over here. The beans are here. The irrigation's here. They will grow up and they will find this. Don't have to worry about that. The advantage again to pole beans is they grow vertical and you don't have to bend over to harvest them. They do not come in alternate colors that I am aware of as the bush beans do with the wax yellow and the royalty purple. These are just simply green beans. So you can harvest them, make it like this, an easy pick. These will take 70 to 80 days to reach maturity. They too will last up to frost. And if you pick them regularly and not wait until they get big, long, and then start drying out, as the seeds that we have here have done, you can have a very abundant harvest all the way through summer and into fall. So if you want to grow bush beans or pole beans or both, now's a good time to do it when the soil is 55 to 60 degrees, not wet and cold, but warm and moist. It'll be a good thing for you. And you can harvest them and grow them and preserve them or eat them fresh all summer long.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.